Back in August of last year, we reported on a game called We Happy Few. We reported on it because it was a small indie project which suddenly doubled in price when it signed a AAA publishing deal with Gearbox. This time around, however, it looks like they may have learned their lesson.
We Happy Few is a psychedelic first-person indie survival and exploration game set in an alternate reality English city in the 1960s. Players take control of Arthur, a man trapped in this society in which everyone is hooked on a happiness drug called joy that masks the actual dystopian nature of the world. It was originally announced in 2015 before entering early access in July the following year. It was slated for release on April 13th this year for Xbox One, PC and PlayStation 4, but that's now been pushed back into the summer.
In a pretty frank video blog on their YouTube channel, Compulsion Games explained the reasons for delay in We Happy Few. The developers say they actually finished all the content of the game about a month ago, but when they finally sat down to actually review it all, they decided to make some pretty big changes. Explaining the news in their YouTube production update, Sam Abbott, Chief Operating Officer, said, quote, "We need a bit more time than we had anticipated. We made a couple of decisions. We brought forward a large number of story moments, so things that were going to happen later in the game now happen earlier. And we've also rebuilt the whole first island of Arthur." Abbott continued, "The first 2.5 to 3 hours feels like a completely different experience now, and we think it's much better than it was, but it means we need that extra time." The video also revealed a brief glimpse at a second playable main character, Sally, while a third playable character is still to be revealed.
So that's the delay. But there's another pretty big strand to this story. We Happy Few is currently available in early access on Steam and Xbox One, but as of February the 1st, the game's buy button will be disabled on Steam. They're taking it off the shelves. Not only that, but the devs are enabling refunds to all players who've bought the game on Steam, past and present, regardless of how long they've played the game. Unconditional refunds for all players is a pretty big move. All of this seems to be a response to the backlash the game saw in mid-2017 when Gearbox were announced as the publisher for the console version of the game, and the price on Steam Early Access was doubled.
In a lengthy post explaining all this on the game's Steam page, Compulsion Games wrote, "Bottom line, the team has built some amazing content, but we need more time to polish than we anticipated. As a result, we will now be releasing the game this summer. We have also received feedback that some Steam players felt the new pre-purchase asking price didn't mesh well with the game being categorized as early access. Given all the content we have yet to reveal to the public, we can see their point. What you guys see right now is definitely not what we see internally."
So they're saying there's actually much more of a game there. That's the source of all the controversy. People saying, well, you're charging a full AAA price for an indie game. But that is what it looks like, because that's what the early access version is, basically. It's an indie game. But they're saying that in their studio, they can see internally that this is actually a huge game now. There's 3 playable characters, it's got AAA production values, it's got all this going on, but they just can't show it to us yet. And then the fact that they've had to delay it is an interesting one, because they've basically reshuffled the introduction. And they were saying, in quite some nice, frank detail in that video, by the way, you should definitely watch it if you're interested in the game, because they are very open and honest. They said that they were just kind of reshuffling the intro. The intro wasn't strong enough of an opening, so they've just kind of brought some cooler things forward and changed the game up, and as a result, it's had a pretty big knock-on effect, that, and they're going to polish it as well. So that's what the delay is about. But there's also this whole other issue of taking the game off the shelves and offering everyone an unconditional refund if they want.
That's a huge pro-consumer move, and we were the first to criticise them for doing what they did back in August last year. We were asking questions like, is this right to charge this amount of money for what is essentially an early access indie game? And just because they want to go AAA, does that mean it's right charging this money? But obviously they heard that criticism, and they've changed it now. They've taken the game off the shelves, and they're offering an unconditional refund for everybody, which it's kind of unprecedented. Like, you don't see that happening that often. They say if you're not happy with how we've done things or whatever, just have your money back. Have that. That's an awesome move. And in my eyes, if you're unhappy with how they dealt with things in the past, if you're unhappy with how they signed up with Gearbox, unhappy with the scope of the game changing, for any reason whatsoever, you can just have your money back now. I think that's awesome, and credit where it's due. We criticise often enough. This is a good move, and fair play.
I really like the way the developers recently have been doing videos that are completely brutally frank and saying, listen, we thought it was good, it's not good, so we're delaying it, and it's going to take 3 months, and here's exactly why we're delaying it, and here are the exact changes that we made. This is great. This kind of communication is definitely the way forward, and this kind of video is You know, another great example of how to do it, how to communicate. They've been doing these weekly blogs that just keep their supporters and backers kind of up to date with exactly what the development team has been doing that week. They said they're going to keep that going forward until the game comes out. It's another good move. It's interesting to think what the price is going to be. I've got a sneaking suspicion that it will come down a little bit. I think that they will lower the price, because if they've taken it off sale and they're saying we want to have a look at the price to see if it's fair, and you know, come up with a price that's fair based on the content that we've got. I've got a feeling that it'll be a little bit less than what they had taken it up to after signing that deal with Gearbox.
The other interesting point for me is their creative decision, right? They've made a creative decision, and which means obviously they're moving some stuff around in the game and making it more concise at the start. The fact that making that decision is going to delay the game, is going to piss some people off, but creatively it's the right decision. It's brave. I mean, they could have just left it and said, "Oh, it is what it is now. Let's push it out the door." No, I mean, I for one appreciate that decision that they've made, because it seems like it's best for everyone involved. Although, like I said, you are likely to piss people off in the process. Are you one of the people that will take them up on their offer of the refund? Let us know down in the comments below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new around here. There's another video for you to watch on the screen there. Support us on Patreon if you're awesome. We will see you again in the next video. Until then, bye for now.